I am travelling with the Wazalendo, notorious armed fighters, operating in the east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They're self-appointed defenders of the homeland. Their name means patriot. Their reputation is brutal and lethal. We're heading north to where the Wazalendo are fighting the M23 rebels. Luvungi is as far as the Wazalendo will take me. I'm told clashes are just a few kilometres further. The town is small, but the scale of the conflict is massive.
Tout d'abord, les M23, ce sont des supplétifs du Rwanda. Ils font des violences, mais également, ce sont des agresseurs. Ils agressent notre pays. Et ils violent, ils nous massacrent, ils volent nos minerais.
Do you think that the Wazalendo have made any mistakes?
Non, pas du tout. Si le pays est agressé, tout le monde est contraint ou censé de se battre. Il n'y a pas quelque chose de mauvais.
The United Nations fact-finding mission concluded in September that all parties to the conflict have committed serious violations of international humanitarian law that may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. Wazalendo armed groups are accused of rape and recruiting children under 15 to use in combat. If M23 captures Luvungi, it's a step on the way to this. Uvira, the current coveted prize in this conflict. 2 hours south of Luvungi, bustling with life and bristling with tension. Every civilian who I've spoken to here in Uvira tells me they have a feeling of dread, of alarm, that the M23 rebels could capture this place at any point. And they have that feeling because Goma, a city to the north of here, was taken by the rebels in January. Many people died and the rebels are still in control. Around 750,000 people in Uvira cheek by jowl with military and armed groups. Soldiers from neighbouring Burundi, the Wazalendo and DRC's own army. Because this city couldn't be more strategic. Perched at the top of Lake Tanganyika, seizing Uvira would give M23 access to a vast waterway from which to launch attacks. While in the hills above Uvira, M23 pushes ahead, further expanding its territory into mineral-rich eastern DRC.
Et chaque jour, l'ennemi multiplie des stratégies. Comment infiltrer la ville Uvira et comment faire parvenir à démoraliser la population avec des fake news, avec des désinformations qui disent comme quoi la ville d'Uvira est assiégée, c'est tout ça.
The choir of this Uvira church raise their voices to sing, staring down hostility. Their church is repeatedly targeted. The congregation is largely Banyamulenge, ethnic Tutsis, as is most of the leadership of M23. But many Banyamulenge have lived in the area for centuries. Pastor, why is your church being attacked?
Sasa tu kwa sababu kuko chuki kuhusu Wanyamulenge inajulikana dunia mzima, na si hatuiwe ile chuki ni nini. Ni chuki tu ya kutuchukia, haina hata sababu moja. Wanatuchukia tu, lakini sisi tunajua tuko Wakongomani pamoja na wengine. Hata wanatubomolea vile tunaendelea kuishi na tutaendelea kuishi katika nchi ya Congo. Huwa hata wanatubomolea, hakuna kitu yenye itatutosha katika nchi ya Congo.
Generation upon generation caught in the region's ethnic strife. The government brought fighters from armed groups like the Wazalendo into the armed forces in 2023. I meet a senior Wazalendo at the army base in Uvira, now Army Reserve Coordinator. What does M23 want, do you think?
Leur objectif est de balkaniser notre pays, la RDC, que nous sommes les fils d'humilier les fils autochtones du pays. C'est l'objectif du M23, c'est nous séparer, nous diviser.
When does this stop? What will bring about an end to the fighting?
Ça va finir le temps que le gouvernement congolais prendra au sérieux l'agression que nous sommes en train de subir ici chez nous. C'est ce que nous sommes victimes. Et la fin, c'est la guerre. La fin, c'est se battre entre nous et les Rwandais, direct les Rwandais, et non seulement ici dans notre sol, se battre entre le Congo et les Rwandais. C'est là où va se trouver la solution.
On the Wazalendo truck that took us up to Luvungi, families have piled on to get out. But there's no feeling of escape from danger, that down the road things will be better. Only jeopardy. And the gnawing sense of all-enveloping war. To really understand what's going on, I need to get to rebel-held territory, which means first crossing into Burundi, then taking the road from Kigali, Rwanda's capital, to Goma. The history of one blood-soaked nation, inextricable from the current bloodshed in its neighbour. I find M23 soldiers on duty when I arrive in Goma. Guarding their president,
Welcome to Goma.
Bertrand Bisimwa, the rebel movement's capture of Goma in January, M23's biggest single trophy. Has M23 committed war crimes?
Vous savez, nous sommes victimes d'une propagande.
Is that no? I just need to know, yes or no. Has M20...
Nous n'avons pas commis des crimes de guerre et nous ne pouvons pas le commettre. Parce que ce que nous combattons, c'est justement ces crimes de guerre, ces génocides qui se perpètrent contre nos populations. C'est nous qui combattons contre ça.
More than 7,000 new M23 recruits on parade in September. This is M23 footage. Journalists not allowed to observe. Fresh graves speak to the cost of M23's offensive. The United Nations estimated around 2,900 people died during M23's capture of Goma. Haunting the region, the legacy of the 1994 Rwanda genocide, when an estimated 800,000 people, the vast majority Tutsis, were slaughtered by extremist Hutu. M23 says it's fighting for the survival of the Congolese Tutsi minority. These are new M23 commandos who finished their training in October. Their archenemy, the FDLR, an armed group operating in eastern DRC that includes perpetrators of the 1994 genocide who fled to DRC afterwards.
Les moyens que nous disposons d'abord, c'est les moyens humains. Nous ne payons pas nos militaires. Ils ne sont pas payés. C'est des jeunes gens discriminés qui ont été victimes de la discrimination que Kinshasa veut mettre à mort et qui se défendent avec leurs propres moyens pour exister.
The presence of UN peacekeeping soldiers made no military difference as Goma fell. But UN experts have reported serious violations of humanitarian law by all sides in this war. Of the M23 rebels concluding they have engaged in summary executions, torture, detention, enforced disappearances, systematic rape. Children detained, young males forcibly recruited. Thank you for meeting with me. Bisimwa's ally, Kone Nonga, leads AFC, the rebel alliance that includes M23. He's vowed the rebels will march all the way to DRC's capital, Kinshasa, more than 2,000 kilometres away. The United Nations says M23 is backed by Rwanda, which Rwanda denies. Is Rwanda backing you?
Rwanda? No,
No?
No.
You get no support from Rwanda?
No, we don't have support from Rwanda.
And you never have?
We are Congolese,
Okay.
and we are fighting for a reason.
Because the UN says that you're backed by Rwanda.
I don't know what kind of backing they talk about.
Do they give you arms?
No,
What about stopping the atrocities that have been committed by M23?
please. These are allegations. These are propaganda. Did you see them? No. No proof. These are propaganda from Kinshasa when they know that on the military ground they have failed. And in fact, they have failed on everything.
Mr. Nanga?
So they are paying all
sorry,
those
I can't
cabinets.
let you continue. On
Please.
that, on the atrocities, the United Nations,
Yes.
I'm sorry, the United Nations says that M23 may also have committed crimes against humanity. Do you deny there have been atrocities committed by M23?
I deny, I reject, and I say that they are liars.
I waited 7 days in Goma for M23's permission to report from beyond the city, to reach a lucrative mine now under M23 control, to witness conditions on the ground. Permission from the rebels never came, but their intent and ambition are clear.
Every day they're calling, Nanga, where are you? Come with your people.
Would you like to be president?
This is not the matter.
No, it's a serious question.
Yes.
Would you like to be president?
This is not the matter.
Would you answer the question for me, though?
Yes.
Just so I understand.
Yes. I'm a Congolese, I have the right to become president.
Would you like to be?
It can be, and I will take it as a responsibility. Yes,
Do you believe you will be president?
I will be.
So I am talking to the future president of DRC.
I'm afraid that you are.
The rebels maintain Goma is now an example of functioning government.
Life has come. People are living. Children have started their school. No more insecurity. And Goma is safe.
But not for everyone. On the edge of town, a woman washes her family's clothes in the waters of Lake Kivu. The shoreline reached by a desolate road. Daily life here involves constant danger. I'll call this woman Patricia. It's been a month since she was carried to hospital.
Ukenda tuvunja mupori, wabati yake ndo mwanarudiaka mzuri.
Could you tell me what happened to you?
Tupia nyene nifikiaka, nilikuwa niko naenda vunja. Nikaona wanaume wawili wakanibaka. Abo kuko benye walikimbiaka, tulikuwa tuko ba mama batatu. Wengine wakakimbia ba mama. Mie sasa nilikuwa niko pembeni au balisha kimbia, njoo nikaona wakaniwikia yako. Njoo akasema kuganga, nao wakasema kwali mwatumuue. Mbona naganga? Njoo nikamataka migulu wakaifaa hivi. Ule mwalikuwa na komala kanifunga macho na ule mwingine kanibaka sasa. Yeye ndio mwalikuwa na bana hii migulu iko nafaa hivi, iko nafaa hivi.
"30 minutes from the hospital, Goma's lively markets give no hint of the trauma routinely visited upon women." Sexual violence against women isn't a daily occurrence here, it is an hourly emergency. Doctors Without Borders says that simply in the clinics that it supports here in Goma, between January and April, it treated more than 7,000 women who'd been raped. And the situation has not improved. Nor is it only happening here in Goma. Sake is a small town about 20 kilometres away. Doctors Without Borders in the same period, January to April, treated more than 2,000 women. It simply doesn't stop. United Nations officials say that all parties involved in the conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo are systematically using sexual violence as a tactic of war against civilians. The clinical psychologist treating Patricia sees a constant stream of new patients.
Why do you think this is happening at such an epidemic level?
Il n'y a pas la sécurité. S'il y avait la sécurité, tout ça ne devrait pas arriver.
The hospital treats many patients with varying conditions, but rape victims are different. Advised to keep their ordeal quiet to avoid being marginalized. Unchanging is the poverty and the peril. Patricia has 4 children, the youngest of whom she was still breastfeeding. She tested negative for HIV when she was brought to the hospital. But it's complicated.
Banganga na bwanangu wakasema seniache kwanza kumpa maziwa. Wanaambia kasi hapana, mimi aseniendeleshe kwanza madawa. Asaba atanyonyesha, sitanyonyesha tena mtoto, aseni muendeleshe na bui tu.
Why can't she breastfeed her baby?
Il arrive des fois, une survivante, on le constate toujours ici à l'hôpital. Elle dit que moi, une fois seulement, entendre que j'ai la maladie, je dois me tuer. Souvent, moi je dis, après avoir évalué l'état émotionnel du survivante, il y a des fois, on se réserve en donnant les résultats. Et là, on essaie d'abord de remonter son état émotionnel. Quand elle va se décharger, c'est à ce moment où on peut annoncer. Tu vois.
As she waits for her old life to resume, Patricia is uncertain when her husband will again share their bed.
Sasa siyuwe kama yeye ndio mwatapangaka. Akasema basi siyuwe sasa.
So how will you manage if you need to go out into the bush again to get food?
Maneni msaada tu. Kusema nisipatwe tena na ile tatizo. Ni msaada tu.
And who can help you?
Basi ni msaada tu ya Mungu, hasa tufanye nini? Jana ndio nilikuwa natoa kule, tunaenda tafuta makuni juu tuushe tupate cha kukula.
For months, this region has been living a sort of double life. The rebels and the government agreed to a framework for a peace deal on November 15. But there has been no laying down of arms, no reconciliation, no celebration, because nothing has changed on the ground.